As the premier manager and leading advocate for quality senior housing, EHDOC, the Elderly Housing Development and Operations Corporation, is well aware of the tremendous need in our nation for affordable housing for seniors. Still, it was remarkable to see hundreds of seniors line the streets, hoping to be accepted for an apartment in this new building.
Today marked the day of our opening of a new property of EHDOC. We were told by the police department there are over 700 people lined up this morning at 9 o'clock, and we expect by the time we open the doors at 1 o'clock, there will be over 1,000 people in the streets trying to come in to get an application.
I have worked here for 45 years, and I have SSI, and I'm paying a regular rent, and I cannot afford it.
We've come to apply to get an apartment. We are in need.
A lot of people that need help. A lot of people need help.
They either pay an efficiency $700 and be left with $100 or $180 for the phone and for electricity, and they have to go to the senior center to get their one-a-day meal. You know, they're willing to stand in line for 24 hours in order to see the possibility of getting a chance of getting an apartment. They're having a hard time.
There's a Harvard University study that shows 8.4 million seniors have an annual income of less than $10,500 per year. We also have 1.5 million low-income seniors today who pay more than 50% of their income on rent. And this is a catastrophe and a shame on America.
Hundreds of seniors have been waiting for days just for the opportunity to apply for a new apartment. Finally, this afternoon, that opportunity arrived.
109 units, Antonio, way too few for hundreds of senior citizens on fixed incomes and who waited in line for hours, some overnight, just to get an application for an affordable apartment in this unfinished apartment building with only 109 units. The pushing and shoving, the heated arguments. These senior citizens, some just plain worn out, reached their breaking point after waiting hours in line. Many camped out overnight just to get an application for an apartment at this government-subsidized building.
We are seeing, again, another example of the overwhelming need of senior housing for low-income seniors. And I'm very proud to tell you that it's a tragic day, but yet it's a very important day for us to show America that it's not sufficient affordable housing in this country for people of low income. And we want to make sure that through this film, we can show through the human suffering of people waiting as late as last Friday, stand in line to get an application to see if they qualify to come to 109 units only.
I've had the opportunity to talk to these individuals that have been out there for hours, exhausted in this hot sun, but they are very grateful for that opportunity, that just having the opportunity to fill that application and go through an interview process, and hopefully they'll be the ones.
We're not getting what we used to get. We're given a very small check that doesn't cover our rent.
I'd like to have an easier life, to have a roof over my head.
My
situation is, I don't have work. We lost our house, foreclosed. So now, we're practically on the street.
We have unprecedented times right now. People are losing their jobs, their health care, their savings, and they're losing their homes. But I don't think anybody had the dramatic impact it's having on our senior people in this population. Our senior population is going to be growing by about till up to 70 million, I believe, in about 20 years. What are we going to do if we don't start addressing the problem right this minute?
Every time you leapfrog a few miles and did this same thing, you'd have that same crowd out there, another crowd, another crowd. This is just representative of what you have in America. And this is just a piece of it. We have 300,000 units for low-income seniors are available today. The Senior Commission estimates that we need 750,000 units, and that's just for this year alone.
We're in line here based upon my mom, because she's disabled, and basically where she's living, she's renting, she's not owning. It's too much. The economy, it's just very bad right now at this moment. So that's why everybody's here applying to see maybe they'll be able to get some help.
This is the silent crisis. All the candidates are speaking about Main Street and Wall Street, and they need to take a look at the senior citizens. This problem has not been addressed, and we need to do something about it.
I think what everybody needs to know is that the labor movement's strictly about people. We're about fundamental fairness, and we're about quality of life and making sure that nobody's being left behind. Unfortunately, behind me, you see people that are being left behind. Despite the yeoman's work of the people for elderly housing, we've got to do much better. The problem is that we have Section 202, which is cutting funding. People have to see real faces out here that are just looking for a roof over their head. Our most senior people, our most treasured citizens in this community have to find a roof over their head.
You can see the dire need of housing for our elderly in our community. It is sad in many ways when we have to see this, but we also thank the great organizations that make this a reality.
This building was done without all the hoopla and all that, and it was done. And in a few weeks, people will be living there, and that's the way it should be.
It's a great thing, believe it or not, with the heat and everything, but it's all worth it.
We got to do better for people, and I think that's what the AFL is saying right here, is that we're going to partner with anybody that's got a heart in their body and compassion in their heart to say that we're going to fight for people like behind me.
1, 2, 3, go!
The ceremony we just concluded here at Palermo Lakes was a joyous one. 109 families who heretofore did not have decent roof over their head now have apartments in this beautiful building. But as we rejoice, we also remember that last October, more than 1,000 seniors lined up in a hot sun, some over several days, to get an application for 109 apartments. This situation is unacceptable and is steadily growing worse. So we call upon all Americans who have a commitment to social justice, who believe that after a lifetime of work, a worker should at least be rewarded with the dignity of a decent home to live in. And we ask those people to join with us to press our members of Congress and at the state and local level. Working together, we can see that all retirees can enjoy the golden years, not just a few.